So in the review for the last episode, I put forth the idea that the Watchtower of Osterith was going to be a Helm's Deep level last stand of the villagers. Well, throw that idea out. The Watchtower is destroyed in the first 10 minutes of the episode by a Rondir shooting a single arrow at a rope, which supposedly was holding the tower together. This was the villagers attempting to trap the orcs, and their real last stand was going to take place in the village. Man, you gotta love it when they subvert expectations, especially when it makes no damn sense. What's better, a watchtower that stood for 1,000 years, or the village that was already ransacked by the orcs? Before the orcs went to the watchtower, Adar made sure to plant some pretty flowers before making an inspirational speech, trying to get the team ready for the big game, reminding them how hard they've worked, how far they've come. No, I'm not describing the end of every football movie. This is the Rings of Power. Get it together, Amazon. If you're gonna have Adar say anything to the orcs, it would be something like, get your sun-scorched asses to that watchtower and don't come back until you've destroyed the enemy. But, make it sound more like Tolkien. There is a middle ground between Adar saying nothing and giving a pre-fight Captain America speech. He should be like Saruman. Keep it brief, use small words, and wave your arms around. Remember, these are orcs. You're not getting the Avengers ready for a time heist. With the Númenóreans sailing to Middle-earth, dare I say that the story is starting to get better? Did Galadriel finally get wise? It almost sounds like it when she talks to Isildur, who we find out left Númenor because he thinks that it isn't the true Númenor anymore. We also learn that Elendil's wife drowned, which, coming from a culture that venerates the sea and being the captain in a navy whose motto is "the sea is always right," that's gotta be rough. I may be premature in saying this, but I think that Elendil may end up being the best character on the show when all is said and done. Back in the Southlands, cue the preparation montage. Arondir seems like he's taking more of a leadership role, which is smart and gives an appropriate inspirational speech to the villagers. Bronwyn even manages to say something really inspiring to Theo, and all I could think was, I think they accidentally gave Galadriel's dialogue to Bronwyn's actress. Also, some dialogue is shared between Arondir and Bronwyn, which mirrors what Adar said when planting the seeds, and we'll talk about that again in a little bit. But Arondir also mentions one of the Valar, or gods, who watches over growing things and those who tend to them. He doesn't name them, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be Yavanna, the Vala responsible for all growing things in the world, having a similar role to that of the Greek goddess Demeter. When the orcs show up at the village, the villagers once again set up a trap that fails pretty quickly because the orcs can easily get out of it. And while the villagers do end up winning this skirmish, it's only after Arondir has his ass beat by an absolute tank of an orc. And then it turns out there's more orcs in the trees who start picking off the villagers with arrows when they're standing out in the open, shocked to realize that a lot of the orcs that they fought were actually their neighbors in disguise. And it's like, what did you expect was going to happen with those villagers who pledged their allegiance to Adar? The orcs end up taking the villagers hostage. Adar gets a hold of the Shadow Blade, but suddenly daylight arrives, and with it the Rohirrim, the Númenórean cavalry, which doesn't exist in the books because they are a naval power and didn't have horses until they came to Middle-earth for the first time. But they ride over the hill, they sweep through the orcs, most of them are killed, some of them are captured. Adar is questioned by Galadriel and Halbrand, and we finally get his origin and motivation. And what do you know? Amazon made me dislike what I thought was going to be their best original character. So Adar is confirmed to be an elf who was corrupted by Morgoth and is a member of the first generation of orcs, or the precursor to what we typically know to be orcs. He calls them Uruks, and if you're confused by that because they had the Uruk-hai in Lord of the Rings, Uruk just means orc in Black speech. Adar claims that Sauron set to create order in Middle-earth and experimented on orcs in the north in order to gain power over the flesh, which we saw in that icy fortress. He also claims to have killed Sauron and desires to carve out land for the orcs to live on and call their own. I don't believe for one second that Adar actually managed to kill Sauron. Either he's lying or he destroyed Sauron's physical body, but his spirit still remains. Also, when he references the orcs as children, I'm not sure if he means metaphorically or that he biologically reproduced. And this whole storyline is not at all what I was hoping for. You can't make the orcs sympathetic villains. It just doesn't work. Yeah, it sucks that you were corrupted by Morgoth, but it doesn't change the fact that you're evil and need to be obliterated. For once, I actually agree with Galadriel. Galadriel and Halbrand stupidly leave Adar alive and share a moment where they express something kind of resembling romantic interest in each other, which is just a poor choice for a number of reasons, and Amazon seems to just be throwing out elf-human romances willy-nilly. Also, Halbrand is named the King of the Southlands, which we knew was coming. It just seemed so forced and undeserved. Like, it's almost like they were trying to make him out to be the Aragorn of this series, but it took Aragorn 3 movies to get there. And in this, I guess it's the same amount of time as the 3 movies, but we haven't had the same growth. We haven't seen the same amount of growth in his character. Also, that shadow blade that Adar was seeking, he sent it with one of the villagers back to the watchtower when he was captured. And it turns out that it's actually a key to activating what I'm 99% certain is Mount Doom. Now, in the books, Mount Doom doesn't erupt until late into the Second Age when Sauron begins his first attack on Gondor, and we're still a very long way from the formation of Gondor. So once again, Amazon said, fuck the lore, we want an exploding volcano. I will say that I think this episode is better than the others in that the plot finally seems to get going, and we learn more about the characters and kind of the overarching direction of the plot than I think all the other episodes combined. Unfortunately, it turns out that the plot is shit and the characters are retarded. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed this video, I'd appreciate it if you hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Also, click that notification bell so you never miss out on a new video. I'll see you all next time.